I'm going to read out the results of the executive session. During the executive session, Commission voted to approve the minutes of the executive session held on November 18th, 2025 by a vote of 7-0 with one abstention. Commission reviewed a proposed informal resolution and settlement in the matter of In Re Heidi Weston Rogers, complaint number 2024-12. In this matter, the commission voted 7-1 to approve a proposed informal resolution and settlement. The executive director will advise when copies of the settlement document will be available. The commission then considered a motion to enlarge time in the matter of In Re Jeffrey McCormick, complaint number 2025-6. And in this matter, the commission voted 7-0 with one recusal to find that good cause exists, to grant the prosecution's motion to enlarge time for investigation, first extension by 60 days to March 29, 2026 to complete the investigation, conduct a probable cause hearing, and issue related findings. And then the commission voted 8-0 to return to open session. The next item on the agenda is a motion to seal the minutes of the executive session held on December 16th, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Peterson. Is there a second? Second. Second by Commissioner Browner. Commissioner Susie.
Aye.
Commissioner Peterson.
Aye.
Commissioner Browner.
Aye.
Mr. Callahan.
Aye.
Mr. Ray. Commissioner Ritchie. Commissioner Strauss.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. We'll now return to the top of the agenda. And we will hear the director's report. I know it's been hard waiting.
I know it's the highlight of the meeting, but well, I'll make it brief. So with the complaints and investigations, after today, with that settlement, we now have 4 total complaints pending, but I'll go through all 5. The James Thorson complaint, that is scheduled for adjudication on March 17th. If there are any pre-adjudication motions, we're going to try to schedule those for February 10th. Don't know yet whether there will.
We also have a meeting on March 10th, don't we?
I don't have the calendar in front of me, so I do not.
That's correct.
I got it.
No, March 3rd. So we have 2 opportunities, I would think, to address pre-trial, pre-adjudication.
Thank you. As you mentioned, there was a settlement today in the Heidi Weston Rogers complaint. That informal resolution and settlement order will be available after the meeting, after it gets signed by the chair and it gets processed. So probably within an hour after today's meeting, copies of that are available. And of course, the investigative report that was previously filed as a public document, that's available now. In the Jonathan Pascua complaint, that matter is still under investigation. James Durkin complaint also under investigation, and the Jeffrey McCormick complaint that is also still under investigation after today's motion to extend was granted. Moving on to advisory opinions. We have 2 pending advisory opinions right now, and they're both on the agenda. So what's happening is, as these other advisory opinions have come in, but we're at the point now where we make contact with the petitioners the day we get that advisory opinion in, and oftentimes we're able to just, with a phone call, informally resolve the question that was asked. And if we can't do that very easily, then we tee it up for an advisory. Just to get ready, normally after January, after the new year starts, we normally see a big, although it's not an election year, right? So much, so we may not see the same influx, but expect to see more. We only had 1 APRA request since the last meeting. It was a request for some complaint related materials that did not exist. So that was completed in the very same day that it was requested. Just briefly want to touch on financial disclosure. As we finish up the calendar year, we met with our online vendor, which is a company called Tyler Technologies. And they're the company, the successor company. It's changed hands a few times, but they're the company that built our online filing system. And so we work with them at the end of every year to update it to the new filing year. That will be active and online on January 1st for the 2025 filing year. Anyone who wants to file their 25 could do so on January 1st. But we're currently in the process of updating our filing roles. So we're sending out notices and requests to town clerks and fire districts and charter schools, and state agencies, asking them to update their lists for us. And then in March, we'll be sending out those blue letters that all of you receive every year. And the filing deadline this year is a little bit earlier than usual. It's the last Friday in April, which for 2026 will be the 24th of April. And as always, we'll make sure everyone knows when that deadline is approaching. Finally, I don't really have anything under general office administration. Our next meeting is January 6th, so in the new year.
Anybody have any questions for the executive director? Next item on the agenda are advisory opinions. We have one sign in. And that is George Kuzmowitz. Good morning. Morning, Mr. Kuzmowitz. Morning, Ms. Papa.
Good morning, commissioners. This draft advisory opinion is in the tab B in your binders. Mr. Kuzmowitz serves as a board member of the Pawtucket River Authority and the Watershed Council. He also serves as a member of the Budget Committee. He requests an advisory opinion regarding whether the Code of Ethics prohibits him from continuing to simultaneously serve in both positions, and if he's not prohibited, what restrictions, if any, the code imposes upon him when he performs his duties on the Budget Committee relative to any funding requests from the Pawtucket River Authority. The Pawtucket River Authority is a regional quasi-public entity. It was created in 1972 by the Rhode Island General Assembly to improve, preserve, and protect the Pawtucket River. The Pawtucket River flows through 5 municipalities: Coventry, Princeton, Scituate, Warwick, and West Warwick. The authority is funded in part by those 5 municipalities. Each year, the authority creates an operating budget and then submits to each of those municipalities funding request, and that funding request is the same for each of the 5 municipalities. In Scituate, the authority's funding request is reviewed and voted on each year by the Scituate Budget Committee. That funding request is reviewed and then included as a line item along with all of the town department's budget requests in the town's overall budget. Once the budget committee reviews and creates the overall town budget, it submits it to the town council for review and approval. Once the town council is then done with the budget, then that budget gets voted on by the town registered voters at an annual financial town meeting. Now, as we all know, the Code of Ethics does not create an absolute bar against a person's simultaneous service in 2 public positions. However, each matter is reviewed on a case-by-case basis. Here, the petitioner's public duties as a member of the Pawtucket River Authority and the Scituate Budget Committee appear to be separate and apart, and there is no indication that serving in both positions capacities would impair the petitioner's independence of judgment as to his public responsibilities in either position. Accordingly, it is the opinion of the staff that the Code of Ethics does not prohibit the petitioner from continuing to simultaneously serve in both positions. Now, I have listed several provisions of the Code of Ethics in the draft that would otherwise prohibit the petitioner or have implications on his duties on the Budget Committee with regards to his business associates. Here, however, the authority is not Mr. Kuzmowitz's business associate. The authority is a quasi-public entity. Therefore, the Code of Ethics does not consider it a business. Accordingly, the relationship then between the petitioner and the authority is not such a business associates. Therefore, those provisions of the Code of Ethics are not applicable here, and it is the opinion of the staff that Mr. Kuzmowicz can continue to review the funding request from the authority without recusing. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have and advise Mr. Kuzmowicz to seek further guidance if anything changes.
Mr. Kuzmowicz, good morning. Thank you for coming in.
Morning.
I know you've had an opportunity to review the advisory opinion and you've had an opportunity to discuss it with Ms. Papa.
Yes, I have.
Do you have any questions, concerns about the advisory opinion that's being issued?
I do not. It came out, I guess according to my expectations. So no, it seems, I'm just trying to serve my community in a couple of capacities, and the question came up at one of the Patuxent River Authority meetings. Can I work on the Patuxent River Authority's budget if I'm on the Situate Budget Committee? And the suggestion was to come for an advisory opinion, and that's why I'm here. If I need to recuse myself in either venue, I'd be happy to do so, but again, I'm trying to do my best to serve the needs of my community.
And we do appreciate public service and we recognize that you are trying to do two things. And I think that's the importance of Ms. Papa's opinion for you, is that it makes clear that you can do those things. Anybody else have any questions or comments or concerns with this advisory opinion?
I'm glad I now know the trajectory and the distance of the Hudson. I never knew that.
I wondered about that.
It is the longest flowing river in the state of Rhode
Yeah, I
Island.
don't think so. Wow. And then the way, I mean, we could.
It's all.
And I can tell you which parts
I'm
of
afraid you would know.
freshwater.
Is there a motion to approve and issue the advisory opinion as presented by the staff?
I'll move.
Motion by Commissioner Peterson, second by Commissioner Callahan. The roll call vote. Commissioner Susie,
Aye.
Commissioner Peterson,
Aye.
Mr. Browner,
Aye.
Mr. Callahan,
Aye.
Mr. Rabideau,
Aye.
Mr. Ritchie,
Aye.
Mr. Strauss. Aye. And the chair votes aye. Thank you for coming in.
I thank the commission and staff for their time on this. Thank you.
Thanks for your volunteering. Somewhere here, everybody. Well, the next one is, and I'm gonna butcher this name, I'm sure, but Gloria's Belmarte.
Yes, well, Bill Mark. Her obligations to the state kept her from attending today. She's asked that we proceed in her absence, though. This is at tab A in your binders. The petitioner was hired by the Rhode Island Department of Labor and Training in August of this year. She works as a business officer in the Business Affairs Unit. Her public duties include receiving licensing documentation for which she issues receipts, makes deposits, and records journal entries. She prepares daily reports, identifying unemployment and temporary benefit amounts to be issued to people, and circulates those reports among DLT managers. And she generally supports the internal financial operations of that department through correspondence with managers from the DLT's cash management unit. Petitioner works Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. until 4 p.m. The performance of her public duties does not involve interaction with members of the public. In 2021, 4 years before she accepted her position with the state, in her private capacity as an accountant, the petitioner began performing tax preparation, bookkeeping, and related financial services for several individuals and businesses in Rhode Island. She does this work from her home and she has no employees. Petitioner has a total of 9 clients for whom she performs accounting work between the hours of 5 and 7 p.m. 3 nights per week and for another 2 hours each Saturday. She does this without the use of public resources. She does not advertise her business and is not necessarily looking for more clients. After she accepted her new position with the DLT, the petitioner told her private clients that she would no longer be able to perform services for them effective September. She offered to refer them to another accountant, and in response to requests from her clients, she later told them she'll do her best to see them through the end of the year, if that's possible. She inquired of her DLT supervisor as to whether she must cease operation of her private business in light of her new position. The supervisor noted no conflict. The petitioner would like to consider continuing to service her private accounting clients after this year, only if doing so would not violate the Code of Ethics. The petitioner is not aware of any matters before the DLT involving any of her clients, and though she believes that such a situation is highly unlikely to occur, she would be prepared to recuse from participating in her public capacity in any matters that would directly financially impact or involve one of her private clients. Turning now to the Code of Ethics, the petitioner may not engage in secondary employment that will impair her independence of judgment with respect to her public duties, or require or induce her to disclose confidential information acquired by her during the course of and by reason of those public duties. Nor may the petitioner take action in her official capacity as a state employee that will directly financially impact herself, or in this case, her business associates, or use her public office for financial gain for herself or her business associates. The Ethics Commission examines several factors when determining potential conflicts of interest regarding secondary employment or moonlighting. These factors include, but are not limited to, the nexus between the employer's public duties and their proposed private employment, whether or not the employee completes that other work outside of their regular work hours for the state and without the use of public resources, whether the employee is required to appear before their own agency as part of their other employment, whether such other work is to be conducted outside of areas over which the state employee has decision-making jurisdiction with respect to their job, and whether the employee uses their public position to solicit business or customers for their secondary private position. The Ethics Commission has previously advised other public employees who wish to engage in private secondary employment of their obligations under the Code of Ethics. 3 relevant advisory opinions appear on page 3, continuing on to page 4 of the draft. Here, as was the case in the advisory opinions cited in the draft, based upon the petitioner's representations, there appears to be no evidence that her continued provision of accounting services to her private clients would either impair her independence of judgment as to her state employment or create an interest that is in substantial conflict with her public duties. Additionally, there appears to be no relationship between the petitioner's public duties as a business officer at the DLT and her intended continued accounting work for her private clients. Importantly, the petitioner states that she would continue to perform her private work outside of her regular work hours for the state and without the use of public resources. She further states that she would not be required to, nor would she, appear before or submit her work to the DLT as part of her private accounting work. And her private work is not something over which she would have decision-making jurisdiction as an employee of the DLT. Finally, the petitioner represents that she would not use her public position to solicit business or customers for her private business. Accordingly, it is the opinion of staff that the petitioner is not prohibited from continuing to operate her private business if she so desires, notwithstanding her current state employment. She is advised to remain vigilant about identifying potential conflicts of interest and to seek further guidance from the Ethics Commission in the future as warranted. I'm happy to answer your questions.
I always ask it, even though I know the answer, but you've sat down or spoken with Ms. Marte about this,
Yes,
and you've said she's aware of the nature of the opinion
yes,
and simply couldn't be here today for other reasons.
yes. She loves her new job, and which is why she wanted to make sure she's not going to risk it. And she was unable to come here today because she did not want to miss work.
Anyone else have any questions?
Just in terms of perhaps a broader question, In this case and in other cases, are we ever concerned about the appearance of a conflict of interest if, let's say, her private clients were contractors for the state of Rhode Island or was one, you know what I'm saying? This is a little specific, but I'm just curious how we've managed that before where a petitioner may have a client in private practice that does contract work for DLT.
If she had anything to do with the selection, it'd be more than an appearance, she just couldn't do it.
Right.
Um,
I mean, I realize that. I'm just,
right, no, that would be something that we would look for is,
yeah, just to try to keep the petitioner clean.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks. I thought so.
Any other commissioners? Is there a motion to approve and issue the advisory opinion as presented by the staff?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Callahan, is there a second?
Second.
Sorry, second by Commissioner Browner. You were too late, Commissioner Rabideau.
So,
The roll call vote, Commissioner Susie,
Aye.
Commissioner Peterson,
Aye.
Commissioner Browner, Commissioner Callahan.
aye.
Mr. Rabideau.
Aye.
Commissioner Ritchie, Commissioner Strauss.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judicious. Next item on the agenda is the discussion and potential vote regarding initiating rulemaking to correct citation errors to commission regulations. Before we start, I want to note, as I know Ms. Papa will, that there is a typographical error in the third line from the bottom of her memo. It says 4235-5A4. That should be 42-46, I believe. 5A4.
Correct. I have fresh copies of the memo if any of the commissioners would like one.
That is the only typographical error. And Ms. Papa, before you start, because I know everybody on this board has read these papers. And so I'm wondering, quite frankly, whether we even need to have a discussion of this issue. And whether we can simply go to a motion to allow the or rather, I guess, to initiate direct, I emphasize, direct final rulemaking as presented by the staff with respect to the 4 changes that they are proposing for the regulations. Anybody see any great need to hear about it, discuss it? Is there a motion then to initiate direct final rulemaking as presented by the staff with respect to number 1, Commission Regulation 2.5 annual report requests. Number 2, Commission Regulation, I'm sorry, do I need to do these separately, both?
Wait, yes.
All right, so is there a motion to initiate?
No, you can do it all as one vote, but as long.
Oh,
as
no,
you
I'll list them.
all-
I'll list them. I just want to make sure.
One vote listed all 4.
All right, so item 1 I've read. Item 2, Commission Regulation 2.9B, petition for adoption of regulations. Number 3, Commission Regulation 2.10, adoption of commission policy and general commission advisory opinions. And 4, Commission Regulation 3.22A, hearing to determine violation of the Code of Ethics. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Rabbit, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Susie. Roll call vote. Commissioner Susie.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Aye.
Mr. Browner.
Aye.
Mr. Callahan.
Aye.
Mr. Rabideau.
Aye.
Commissioner Ritchie.
Aye.
Commissioner Strauss.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. See, we saved you a presentation.
That was the easiest presentation.
Yes, we all were very much in favor.
So we did everything.
Thank you.
So I think the next item on the agenda is new business proposed for future commission agendas and general comments from the commission. Are there any? That being so, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Browner, is there a second? Second. Second by Commissioner Callahan. If we take these as voice votes, anybody opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, everybody. I like you to let it out.
Well.